Okay, here we go, everybody. This is Mock Draft 1.0. First off, I'm Jzach. Welcome to the channel. This is Jzach in the Red Zone. So guys, I want to say a few things before we even get into this mock draft here. The first thing is, if you don't agree with one of the picks, if you don't agree with your team's taking this guy, or there's no way we take this guy, please don't dislike the video for something like that. Dislike the video if I did something wrong in the video, if there's actually something wrong with the video. And if you disliked it, please do me a favor. Give me some constructive criticism in the comments below so that I can work on that, okay? So keep in mind, guys, this draft here is like half my opinion of what I think is going to happen and half of what I would do if I was a GM. So let's go ahead and get straight into the video. I'm going to try and keep it brief. I don't want to make this a 30-minute video. Nobody wants to watch a 30-minute video, at least not yet. You don't know me well enough yet. So let's go ahead and keep it on. So first overall pick, I have the Arizona Cardinals selecting Kyler Murray. Yes, I do believe some of that hype. I do think this is possible. And if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I'm drafting Kyler Murray, who's the best quarterback in this year's draft. Somebody who I think would have been the second best quarterback in last year's draft, right underneath Baker Mayfield. And I don't think the distance between the two of them was that far. So I think Kyler Murray is a great pick here. And then you can trade Josh Rosen and do whatever you want with him. And I think this puts the Cardinals in a great position here. And I think they took a great quarterback here. I think Kyler Murray needs to work on reading the field better. Too many times will he make one read and either just say, and just throw the ball, or he'll just run with it. And I think he definitely needs to understand that he's got to go through multiple progressions. And I think good coaching can really help him with that. And I think Kyler Murray is a phenomenal talent. So now if you're the 49ers, you have to be ecstatic because Nick Bosa just fell into your lap. The best edge player in this year's draft just fell. And you just have to sit there, and all you have to do is hit your button and say yes. That's all you got to do. If you're the 49ers, take Nick Bosa. Be happy. The biggest positional need on your team just got filled by the best player in it for that position in this year's draft. Nick Bosa, a phenomenal talent. Now, if you're the Jets, you're in a prime position here to trade down. But I think if I'm the GM of the Jets here, I'm taking Quentin Williams, somebody who I think is the best player in this year's draft. I think he's so well polished, and he's only got 1 year of productivity, which is kind of scary. But that 1 year was the best college year I've ever seen of any interior defensive lineman. And I think Quentin Williams is going to be an absolute stud. But a slam dunk pick here by the New York Jets. Now here I have one of my only 2 trades in this year's draft, and I have the Cincinnati Bengals trading up with the Raiders for Dwayne Haskins. The Bengals need a quarterback, and I think they are in a prime position to let him sit behind Andy Dalton. I think that's something you need to do. Let him sit and then let Dwayne Haskins play next year. I think Dwayne Haskins, in my personal opinion, not ready to start this year. I think he's horrible under pressure, but I think he's so smart. Dwayne Haskins is so good, not because of his arm, but because of his brain. He knows how to read defenses. He's so smart and articulate, and he can articulate defenses, and he can just go through his progressions. But you put him under pressure, if you make him throw on the run, plummets down. But I think Dwayne Haskins, high ceiling, also a low floor. Now the Buccaneers, I have them selecting DeAndre Baker, who I think to be the second best corner of this year's draft. But a lot of people, I'm seeing this mocked a lot. I think it could really happen. I think the Buccaneers definitely need some help in the secondary, and I think DeAndre Baker can really give that to them. I think he's probably the most balanced cornerback in this year's draft. I have to say between the top 3, I'd call him the most balanced. Don't think he's the best, though, but DeAndre Baker, high ceiling, very good player here. And now I have my New York Football Giants. I'm really excited for this pick, selecting Josh Allen. Now, anybody out there who knows me knows that preferably I want Kyler Murray if he's available. But if he's not there, I'm okay with taking somebody like Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's such a good player. Such a good player. So versatile. His NFL comp for me is Lorenzo Carter. But I think he's a lot better version of Lorenzo Carter. And I think he is kind of raw. I think he needs some coaching to really extend the array of pass rush moves that he goes to. And too many times I'll see him get beat. Like his first pass rush move doesn't work, and he won't throw a second move out there, which is something he needs to do. He needs to show a little more effort on the second move instead of just relying on his speed and quickness to beat everybody. But I think his ceiling is so high. And I think Josh Allen, when it's all said and done, if coached properly, could be a top 2 player to come out of this year's draft. Great player, Josh Allen. I love him. So now I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Jonah Williams, tackle. So I think this is a great pick here. They're going to sign Nick Foles. It's going to happen. And grab a tackle to protect him. Ken Robinson, not doing too well. Your right tackle, forgot his name. not too good either. I think you need to for sure up that offensive line and stand behind what you were 2 years ago when you were successful. Leonard Fournette pounding the rock, and then why do you think Blake Bortles looked somewhat decent in that class? It was because of Blake Bortles. So make Nick Foles' job easy, secure up that offensive line so Leonard Fournette can pound the rock, and let's get him healthy again. Next pick is somebody, this is a controversial pick. Nobody's going to agree with me here. The Detroit Lions need an edge player, and I think the best available edge player left in the draft at this point is Clelin Ferrell. I think Clelin Ferrell is a great player, and I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he's so underrated. Nobody's talking about him anymore, and I don't understand why. Clelin Ferrell has such good he's such good edge bend, and he's so quick off the line. He's probably the fastest player off the line in this year's draft. He's not going to beat anybody in a 40. But man, he'll beat you in that 10-yard split. So quick, such a good burst, great array of pass moves he can go to. The Lions need help on the edge. Replace Ziggy Ansah, and I think this is the guy to do it. So then I have the Buffalo Bills selecting A.J. Brown, another pick nobody's going to agree with me in because everybody thinks DK Metcalf's the guy. He's not that good, by the way. Spoiler alert. A.J. Brown, in my personal opinion, best receiver in this year's draft. He's the best route runner, so crisp. He's not going to beat you in a sprint, but he's going to lose you in the middle of a route. He's going to make a cut, and you're going to go one way, and he's just going to be on the other side of the field. A.J. Brown, phenomenal crisp route runner. I think you could excel in the slot, but I think he'd also play very well outside. A.J. Brown, great player. So I have the Denver Broncos selecting Greedy Williams. I think they definitely need help in cornerback. I think this is what they're known for, having a phenomenal secondary and a great pass rush. Your pass rush is already fine with Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. And I think Chris Harris, he's only getting older, you know, and draft a new corner. And Greedy Williams, I think, just fits the exact scheme that they like to run there in Denver. I think this is the best place for Greedy Williams to land is in Denver. He can learn from Greedy. He can learn from Chris Harris. Bradley Roby, although I don't think Bradley Roby is returning this year. But I think Greedy Williams definitely a phenomenal fit there for the Denver Broncos. And I think they've shown that they're signing Joe Flacco. They're willing to ride it out a little bit before they go for a quarterback. I think they understand they're not going to have that good of a shot at Kyler and Dwayne Haskins unless they trade up. And I'm not sure if they really want to do that. So then we have the Raiders at number 11 from the pick they got from the Cincinnati Bengals, selecting Devin White. I think this is the best player left available on the board. And if you're in the Raiders, you're just happy he fell in the top 10 for you. And you need so much help everywhere that you just have to grab the best player you possibly can. That's on defense, and I think the Raiders just did it here in Devin White. Somebody who needs to show some more physicality in the run game. But other than that, such a phenomenal talent. He's got the speed to get anywhere on the field he needs to. This is a great pick here by the Oakland Raiders. So we have the Green Bay Packers selecting Montez Sweat, edge player. Edge rusher, somebody who I don't actually think is the next best edge rusher on the board. I don't think so. I think his combine is really going to push him up into the top 15, possibly the top 10. Doesn't deserve to be there. We can talk about his athleticism all day, but at the end of the day, his tape doesn't reflect this worth of a pick. But I think the Packers could take him. I think this is definitely a good fit here, and I think this is just. I think if coached well, Montez Sweat has a very high ceiling. And I think everybody knows that. So we have the Miami Dolphins selecting their quarterback of the future and Drew Lock. Somebody, again, I think needs to sit for a year, but I don't think he will if he goes to the Dolphins. I think he'll probably just start right away. But this is somebody who probably has the most talent out of all the quarterbacks. And when it comes to arm, not in general, but when it comes to just arm, he probably has the most talented arm out of all the quarterbacks in this year's draft. But he kind of reminds me of a little bit of Josh Allen, big arm, bad accuracy, some poor decision making, and he throws off balance a lot. There's multiple times where he'll be in a clean pocket and he'll throw off balance for no reason. It's something you really don't want to see too often coming from a quarterback. So then we have the Atlanta Falcons. Good things come to those who wait. They wait and they get Ed Oliver, phenomenal player, somebody who I think is probably the best run stuffing player, defensive lineman of this year's draft. Somebody who definitely needs to. He needs to go to a wider array of pass rush moves. I know I said that a lot, but it couldn't be any more truer with Ed Oliver here. Phenomenal run stuffer. He only knows how to bull rush, but man, does it work for him. But if he could just learn to get some more swim and rip moves in there, he could be a great player. And when it's all said and done, talent-wise, Ed Oliver could be the best player to come out of this year's draft. And I think the Falcons got themselves a great player. Now, here's a surprising, as ESPN goes off my phone, here's a very, very surprising pick here, or trade. And I have the Arizona Cardinals trading up with the Redskins, and they're going to give up Josh Rosen. And of course, there's some more picks to go on in there. I'm not going to go into detail with those, but they're going to get rid of Josh Rosen to trade up with the Redskins, and they're going to get Rashawn Gary. Although, if I was them here, I would probably take Zach Allen. I actually like Zach Allen a little more than I like Gary. Some people are going to kill me on that. Some people love Rashawn Gary. This is somebody, Rashawn Gary, good player though. This is somebody who could definitely play edge, or somebody who could also play interior, but I would play him as a big, physical, athletic edge player. And I think the Cardinals did get a good player here. I think Rashawn Gary is definitely worth the top 15 pick. But as for the Cardinals, you're ecstatic. You got yourself a great edge player, and you got yourself your future phenomenal quarterback. And you got some more draft picks as well for the Cardinals. Good position. So then here I have the Carolina Panthers selecting Jawan Taylor. Need help on the offensive line. Got to help protect Cam Newton, and this is what they're going to do here with this pick. So we have the Cleveland Browns selecting DK Metcalf, a player who I don't actually think is as good as a lot of people think he is. I know he's an athletic freak. This is somebody who ran a 4.33 40, which is insane, by the way. But he also ran a slower he also ran a slower shuttle than Tom Brady, which blows my mind. If you don't believe me, go look that up. By the way, it's true. It's one of those things where you ask yourself, how is that possible? How do you run a 4.33, but Tom Brady ran a faster shuttle and you did it? Just 3-cone shuttle, just wow. And if the body fat percentage thing is true, he is dying. Somebody needs to feed this guy some burgers or something. I mean, he's actually dying if that body fat percentage is true. So DK Metcalf, somebody who definitely worries me a little bit, but I don't think he's that quick. He's probably the worst route runner out of all the big receivers in this year's draft. But I think he's another one of those. I think he's kind of a one-trick pony. Go deep, go up, get the ball, and that's it. But this is something that the Cleveland Browns could use, and I think he's a little overhyped, and he's going to get drafted like he's better than he is, in my personal opinion. People are going to flame me for that in the comments, but that's really okay. But the Cleveland Browns, they need to go out there and get themselves a weapon for Baker Mayfield, and they went ahead and did that. So we have the Minnesota Vikings selecting Cody Ford. They got to protect Kirk Cousins. This is somebody that this is a team that a while ago, even somebody like the Entertainer Talking Sports was thinking this is a Super Bowl team, and I'm not gonna lie, I was with them on that. And to see them crumble the way they did was weird. And they just need to protect Kirk Cousins, and I think this is what they're gonna do by drafting Cody Ford, somebody who I think is the second best tackle in this year's draft, second best offensive lineman in general in this year's draft. Very versatile. He can play guard, tackle. He's gonna want to play tackle at the next level, and I think you should let him. Cody Ford's a great player. So then we have the Tennessee Titans selecting Ja'Kai Polite, another good player here. Had a horrible combine. I mean, just a horrible combine. But I think his tape speaks for itself. I think Ja'Kai Polite's a good player. I don't think he's the best edge player available. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to think so. And I think this pick very much fits the Tennessee Titans. I think it's a good pick for them anyway. But there's other players I would have taken. So then, oops, sorry. Spoiler alert. But I have I have the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting Byron Murphy, somebody who I think is definitely the best cornerback in this year's draft. Somebody I hope falls to the second round so my Giants can get a crack at him. I would absolutely love that. Byron Murphy's a great corner, probably a better zone cover corner than he is man cover corner. But he's a phenomenal corner, great technique, knows how to use his body, good ball skills. Byron Murphy is a good pick here from the Steelers. So we have the Seattle Seahawks selecting Nasir Adderley, somebody I also hope falls to the second round so my Giants could get him. Or have a chance at him at the very least. You lose Earl Thomas, you got to get his replacement. Nasir Adderley, Jesus, is the closest thing to Earl Thomas in this year's draft. I think he's the best safety in this year's draft. Just great speed, phenomenal ball skills. He just knows how to find the ball. He's always around it. Nasir Adderley is a great ball hawking safety, and I think you need to get back to the whole Legion of Boom thing you guys had going on. I think Nasir Adderley is the best way to get there, and he's a great starting point. So then we have the Baltimore Ravens, who desperately need receiver. I feel like everybody says that every year. And they're going to get Marquise Hollywood Brown, somebody who I think is probably the second best receiver in this year's draft, maybe the third. Marquise Brown, a good player here. Pair him with Lamar Jackson. Get Lamar Jackson a fun weapon to use. And I think he's kind of a Swiss Army knife. And I think Marquise Brown's definitely going to be a good player for the Ravens. So we have the Houston Texans selecting Andre Dillard, tackle. I think Andre Dillard's a great leader. By the way, I think he's a great leader. I think his talent's definitely there. I think his tape isn't as good as I want it to be, but it's still pretty good to justify this pick here, especially if you're considering positional awareness. Everybody knows Texans need help on the offensive line. Deshaun Watson, a very, very mobile quarterback, was the most sacked quarterback last year. Most sacked quarterback, and you can't have that. You cannot let your rookie quarterback, your young quarterback, get hurt like that and keep getting sacked. They got to protect him. I think this is how they do it. So now the Raiders come again, and it's time for them to select Brian Burns, somebody that I would have taken if I was the team that took Ja'Kai Polite. I already forgot who that was. It was the Tennessee Titans. I'm sorry. How did I forget that? Somebody, I would have taken Brian Burns. I think he was at the time the best edge. He's definitely the best edge player available at this point in time. This is a great pick. The Raiders, you need help everywhere. And Brian Burns is a good player on the edge. So you got Devin White. You got yourself Brian Burns. You got two young, really good defensive players you can build around. And not even including the ones you got last year's draft. The Raiders are in a good position here with Brian Burns. Now, with the Philadelphia Eagles selecting Josh Jacobs, I think this is like the same pick in everybody's mock draft. Everybody thinks the Eagles are going to go Josh Jacobs. I wouldn't be surprised they've drafted a defensive lineman like Zach Allen here or something. But I think Josh Jacobs is the pick they need. I think they need a running back. I think Josh Jacobs is a great pick and a good fit here for the Philadelphia Eagles. So then I had the Indianapolis Colts selecting N'Keal Harry. They need another weapon to pair next to T.Y. Hilton. Andrew Luck needs a new toy. They're going to go and get him one with N'Keal Harry, who had a great combine. Another one of those go up and get it kind of wide receivers, but very high ceiling for N'Keal Harry. So the Oakland Raiders up again. They address defense with their first two picks. It's time to address your wide receiver. You got rid of Amari Cooper. Jordy Nelson's not going to cut it. Neither is Seth Roberts. You have to draft a receiver with a high ceiling. I think Hakeem Butler has definitely got it. Top 4 receiver, in my opinion, this year's draft. Receivers always tend to go higher than they should, though, so we'll see if he's even there. But I think in my mock draft, he definitely falls, and I think the Raiders are comfortable taking him here at 27. So we have the Los Angeles Chargers selecting Devin Bush, a great linebacker, had himself a phenomenal combine. Devin Bush, a great player, kind of reminds me of Devin White a little bit in this whole thing where he's going to need that front 4 or 3 to eat up some blocks so that he can run freely to a running back. Good in coverage, Devin Bush. Another player I hope falls to the second so my Giants can get a crack at him. So we have the Kansas City Chiefs selecting Taylor Rapp, the second best safety in this year's draft, in my personal opinion. This is somebody who could definitely learn from Eric Berry. This is a good pick here by the Chiefs. Solidify up that secondary, and I think Taylor Rapp's a good player to help them with that. So we have the Green Bay Packers selecting Greg Little, another tackle who I think is very overhyped. I would not take him in the first, but I think I could see the Packers doing it here. They need some help. Protect Aaron Rodgers. You know, at this year, you draft a tackle, and Aaron Rodgers needs to shut up and just play. And there's no more excuses for him. So he's got to ball out this next year, especially if you draft a tackle like Greg Little. So then we have the Los Angeles Rams selecting Noah Fant, somebody who, sorry guys, somebody who I definitely think is worth. This is a great value. I think he's definitely a top 20 player in this year's draft. And if you're the Rams, you're happy that there's so many defensive players in this year's draft because Noah Fant just fell. I think he's definitely the best tight end this year's draft. And I think they have their starting tight end. I forgot his name. Everybody keeps talking about how bad he is. He's not bad. Go look at the Pro Football Focus grades. Go watch his tape. He was not that bad. And I think this is a great system for them to come out on a 2 tight end set with Noah Fant and a tight end whose name I forgot. But I think this is a great fit for Noah Fant. He's going to go to a winning team. You know, he'll be happy about that. This is a good pick here. And then we have his teammate, TJ Hawkinson, going straight to the New England Patriots. He's getting a lot of comparisons to Rob Gronkowski, somebody who just recently out of nowhere started getting all this hype. I watched this tape. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's top 10 worthy. Like I see him going at a lot of mock drafts. Don't get it. I do think he's a good player, and I think Rob Gronkowski is the best player for him to learn under. So that's kind of his NFL comp for me. And I think the New England Patriots are probably can and will make a stud out of this guy. And that's really going to complete the mock draft, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. This was my first mock draft. So go down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it, guys. Please, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. This video took me a lot of time to make. Not a very easy video to make with all the art and the pictures and all that stuff. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys like those NFL logos, by the way. I tried to use different ones consistently. So I hope you guys like that, by the way. Thanks a lot, guys. Keep tuning in. Look out for a podcast, hopefully to be coming soon, from me and the Entertainer Talking Sports and Kid Blue RB27. Look out for that, guys. And also, I'm thinking of doing some the Madden rebuild pretty soon. Want to let you guys know about that. Hope you guys like that. And we'll tune in. So I hope you guys have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already. Bye.